Hey everyone, welcome back to Reading with Tatiana. Today I'm reviewing The Leavers by Lisa Ko, and I gave this book a 4 out of 5. My Booktuber shout today goes out to Nikel's Nook. She joined Booktube recently and already has a few videos up. Show her some support, give her some thumbs up, leave a comment, and her channel is linked down below. And as always, if you're watching this video, I always will appreciate if you hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have read this book, I'd love to hear what you thought down below of this book as well. This book was published a few years ago in 2017, and the genre is fiction, specifically focused on someone who's living the reality of being adopted and going through the foster system, being adopted eventually, like I said, and also reconnecting with their roots, especially when it's a different culture than the family they've been adopted into. A bit about the author Lisa Ko. She started writing a long time ago, as young as 5 years old, and she finally published her first book, this one, The Leavers, at the age of 41. She also writes for New York Times as well, and she really believes in the long game, which I really admire. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find too much about her on the internet, not a lot of interviews or that kind of stuff, but I really admire that she's married for so long and she's obviously done different types of career, and she finally got her first book, and I really enjoyed this book. A bit about the premise of the book. So our main protagonist is Daniel, and we start with him living in New York, raised by his mom, Polly or Pei-Ling. In case you're not familiar, Daniel and Polly they're given English or Western names, but their Chinese names they were born with were Demain and Pei-Ling. I'm obviously probably pronouncing it wrong because they are Mandarin speakers and I'm Cantonese speakers, so I don't really know how to say their names. And so basically, Pei-Ling and Demain, they are living in New York, and she works at a nail salon. And they kind of live in this kind of like very crowded apartment with Pei-Ling's partner, but not Daniel's actual dad, the partner's sister, and then the sister's son. So it's very close quarters, and it just gives you a picture of being an immigrant. And also to give you some more background is these people, except for Daniel, who's born in America, and I think also his cousin, Michael, are undocumented workers. And basically one day, not a spoiler because this is like in the sleeve of the book, Polly Pei-Ling goes to work at her nail salon, and basically she doesn't come home, and it's rumored that she was deported, but no one really knows what happened because it's kind of like you can't really ask questions. There's no record of her. So basically, Daniel Demain is not being able to take care of by his like stepdad, uncle slash Vivian, who is the mom's boyfriend's sister. So basically, he gets put into the foster child care system, and he eventually is adopted by Kay and Peter, who are Caucasian, white, and they don't live in New York City. They live either the same state, New York, or somewhere else, but close enough. And this is a smaller town. They're professors, and their town is very white. Daniel is like one Asian kid in this town, and his friend that he befriends is like the one other person of color, which is like Latino. So basically, this book talks about the dynamic of Daniel, him being adopted in this family, and his adoptive parents, Kay and Peter, not sure how much to talk about his background, who was Chinese, because they don't really know a lot about his birth family. They want to integrate him, but obviously there's some push-pull because Daniel, for 6 years, he did grow up with his actual mom in New York. So this book, it's very heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, and basically we follow Daniel until he's in university, and he's just struggling. He has this really cool gift where he can like see music. I think it's called synesthesia, and basically he is very talented, but he always has some struggles with loss in identity, loss in culture, and he just kind of becomes like a typical deadbeat musician. He drops out of school, and he just doesn't connect with his adopted parents. So long story short, he kind of is on the route, without spoiling, to find his birth mother, Polly Pei-Ling, in China or New York or wherever she ended up. And this book is just really beautiful because I don't know, like maybe because I'm like also Chinese, so I felt a lot of like parallels, even though I'm not adopted, and I'm obviously still very close with my birth family. But I guess just that connection with your mother, and just your mom's always your mom, And I don't know, it's just a really beautiful story. I think it's really worth reading. I don't know why I didn't give it a 5. It just didn't hit the 5 for me. I definitely think this book isn't for everyone. I think you have to be in the mood to like read it. Common themes I'm found in this book is, obviously I've kind of touched on it a lot, is the idea of your roots and how your roots impact your childhood and how that impacts you as an adult, the trauma you bring along as your adulthood and how you develop as a person, the idea of being adopted, the idea of what it means, what a family means. Is it your birth family? Is it people you grew up with? Is it people that took you on later in life? What does that mean? Also, a darker part of the book that I quite enjoyed was the idea of a gambling addiction. I've never read a book that really put a spotlight on gambling addiction, and just seeing one of the characters struggles with it, it really made me like have empathy for people who have a gambling addiction. The author did a really good job of being the first person point of view of a gambling addiction, and also the story shedding light of being an undocumented immigrant in America. Things I didn't like was, again, I didn't give it a 5. I guess like it felt a bit choppy. I guess I just wanted more time with each character and it to be more fleshed out. I feel this is like a common thing I have for things I don't like about a book, is that I like a book quite a bit and then it falls short because I just wanted more. So I just wanted more time and more background of each character and their motives in life and how they came to be, because we only meet them when they cross paths or were protagonists and whatnot. I also didn't like Demian/Daniel. I think he was definitely an unlikable character and he was a protagonist. And at no point was I really rooting for him, even at the end. So that was a bit difficult for me as he was the main character. I felt like he had so much support, but was resistant to change. So again, similar to the gambling addiction I mentioned earlier, it showed me like an inside look or inside scoop of the logic of someone that is resistant to changing and better themselves, even if they have all the support. So I guess there's that. So on Goodreads, this book on average a 3.89 out of 5. I think that's pretty accurate. Bad reviews was it touches on a lot of things, but doesn't really, like I said, flesh out on a few of them and do it well. So you kind of have this like not half-assed, it's very extreme, but just lots of ideas are introduced, but it's not like fully like 360 fleshing of it. People also were annoyed, like me, at the main character Daniel/Deming. They felt he was just self-sabotaging himself all the time. And people also loved the idea of this book, but felt the writing was kind of disjointed. Good reviews where people thought it was compelling, well written. Each character was fully developed, which is the complete opposite of why people didn't like it. So you have to read it and find out for yourself, I guess. People liked it because it really showcases the idea of immigrants working undocumented, especially in nail salons, and the reality of that. And some people hope this becomes a movie. And people also really enjoyed the slow reveal of information because it's told from the perspective of Daniel/Deming. And when his mom doesn't come back from work, he literally has no idea what happens. So you're learning as he learns. So people really enjoyed that type of writing technique. I think you should read it if you love multi-layered books that talks about family relations, especially how powerful a mother-son relationship can be, and also if you want to learn more about what it's like to be adopted, especially in a culture that you're not born in. Now I'll share how this book made me feel, because if you ask me a week, a year, 5 years from now, I probably won't remember what exactly a book was about, but I'll always remember how it made me feel. So this book, it made me appreciate me and my mom's relationship a little more. It made me nostalgic, especially when Daniel and Polly/Pei-Ling, Deming, the mother and son, would in New York, because they were quite poor growing up. So they would just get on a subway, go off in any station, just explore the area. And that's something that me and my mom did in Vancouver growing up. And looking back, like, it's because mom didn't know how to drive and maybe weren't that well off. But looking back, like, it was a great part of my childhood, and I think it really made me the person here I am today, in terms of I'm very good at navigating, I'm very comfortable in public transit, I actually prefer public transit, and it just made me feel very appreciative of my mom. Thank you for watching Tatiana and my book review for The Leavers by Lisa Ko. If you read this book, I'd love to hear what you thought down below. And again, you made it to the end, please hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!